Cool. I
Okay.
say to Will, I like the dwarf's idea. Get the caravan ready to ride. They can ride in that. We'll ride on our horses. Guys, I also found something. I pull out the parchment. Um, as I'm opening it, I look up at them and I say, "My name is Cyrell, by the way. This is Will."
Mhm. As you break the seal, make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh
Oof.
man, it's on.
Ah, I can't look.
21.
21.
21.
Okay. So you take half damage. So you take 2 points of psychic damage
Oh, your brain.
as you break the seal and you feel this fiery piercing inside your mind, like the worst headache you have ever experienced. In reaction, as soon as you break that seal, you drop what you're holding and you kind of like fall down on your knee, just clutching your head for a second before the pain passes. And when it does, just everything around you is deafened for a moment, and you're disoriented and you have no idea what just happened to you. Everyone else, you see Cyrell say, "My name's Cyrell, by the way," and then he goes to open the parchment, and this silent scream escapes from his lips as he clutches his head and falls down. As the parchment falls from his hand, it immediately flashes and burns away and turns to ash and is carried off into the wind with the storm. And Cyrell, you regain sort of control and your senses back, and you look around and you have no idea where you are or who these people are.
I like
For
turn to
about
Will.
10
And I-
seconds.
Oh.
And everything comes rushing back, and you just kind of take a breath, and you're just really thankful that you rolled a 21. No, you're just really overwhelmed by everything that you just experienced, and you, there you are. You're okay.
Oops.
And that is where we are going to end today's session.
All right.
Yay.
Goodness. Well, we
Good job,
didn't
Jack.
meet at a
My
tavern.
own business.
That's right, guys.
No
Nice, good
taverns
job.
allowed.
Yes, we
Job,
didn't
everyone.
die. I was close, but I didn't die.
Yeah.
How low did you get?
One.
Really?
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
10 hit point.
Oh,
Yeah,
was
because
that
it was
lightning bolt and everything?
a lightning bolt, and then
Lightning
I
bolt.
fell from the cart. And
Oh gosh.
I tried to give you a warning with the tingling on the hair thing and
Yep.
the static electricity stuff.
I was trying to warn you, but I knew I couldn't say anything because my like guy would like not have known.
Yeah.
I was
Christina,
like,
what's your class?
Was it what?
Warrior.
Warrior? So we have two warriors? Okay.
Yeah, two
I
warriors.
was like, man, we don't have a scholar for healing.
I know.
You'll be right. There are potions and stuff in the game too, and I'll
Yeah, I just
Let me
meant
run
like
back
in
to
this
help you
moment
guys.
when he almost died.
I know. That's
well, it's like
why.
Tyrell has second wind, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that was clutch.
so
Yeah.
does Dala has a second win.
How many hit points do you have now, Derek?
I
After the
have
2 psychic damage?
6.
6. Okay. You would have taken 4, so you would have only had 4 hit points left if you hadn't rolled that 21. And then that means if you hadn't got your second wind, which was 5 hit points, that would have knocked you unconscious. And if
So John, has this battle been enough to increase our experience? And by experience, I mean our level. Now that we're more battle wise and we know how to fight.
make a persuasion check now.
I'll make it.
I need to calculate how much experience you guys did. Typically, when it comes to D&D games, I do milestone leveling. But in this game, I kind of want to do something a little different and actually do experience. So I'll need to tabulate what you guys got, and I'll let you know if you leveled up. I don't think you did, but I will let you know. And it's not going to be just killing people gets you experience. Obviously, good social RP moments will give you experience, or
So how
great,
many
like,
how many experience did Asking Will multiple times give me? How much experience did Asking Will those questions give?
Yeah, a lot. That was a lot of experience. You're definitely.
Oh man, I knew I should have asked Will that.
That was actually a pretty great role play moment, and you do get bonus points with me for good role play moments, everyone. So
That's good.
but that was a lot of fun, guys. I'm excited. You guys are about to willingly go into the dark, scary forest that they were trying to take you to. So that just makes
By
me.
the way, I know the scary parts of Miracwood. That's the parts that I know. Just
The
letting
thing
you guys
is
know.
that the further south you go in the Mirkwood, the worse it gets, and you're already at the halfway point, and you have to go further south to get to where he was taking you. So
Nice. Yeah, and something for like you to know as well, John. It's like part of my background. Oh, did he just leave? Oh, okay. Part of my background, like my specialty, is like I can sense the shadow. Like I almost have like a sixth sense and sensing like how bad if it's growing, if it's getting weaker, how if it's like a horde or this is like one guy. That's just something that came with like my background.
Yeah, I saw that, and obviously in general, the Mirkwood is going to give you a bit of an eerie feeling. There are places within that I've made notes of that would trigger that. So
Part of my background, when I enter a place, usually for the first time or meet someone of note, I like have dreams and stuff. So sometimes I get like a kind of a feeling of something. So
yeah,
that's dreams.
So,
yeah, I really like the backgrounds that were sent to me. I'm looking forward to seeing how some of these characters play out in the world that we're in, and the backgrounds you guys created even helped inform the timeline and where we are in the story. Just different things that were in there, because you may not realize, but in between The Hobbit and so if you haven't read the books, you can think that the time in the Fellowship of the Ring between when Bilbo leaves and Frodo gets the ring from Gandalf and starts his adventure, it feels like it's been a few weeks or a few months, but it's actually been like 20 years. There's a massive passage of time that happens. And so if you go from The Hobbit to the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring, it's like 55, 60 years. But if you go from The Hobbit to when like they actually set out and get to Rivendell, it's like 70 years. And so this game takes place in that 70-year gap, and a lot of stuff can happen in 70 years. And so reading through your guys' backstory and ways that you interacted with characters from one or both of those stories helped me kind of settle on where in that timeline. And we ended up being about 2 years before the events of Fellowship of the Ring. That's why we ended up in 3017. 3019 is kind of when everything goes down with the War of the Ring and all that. So
nice, really cool.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we do maybe a couple minutes debrief real fast?
Sure.
So question for you guys. So what's one amazing thing that another player or character did that you thought was really cool? I'll go first since I came with the question. I was thinking about it. Christina, like Dala, just started the rounds. You were just amazing on the cart there. That was amazing. I was like, oh my goodness, Christina's got it. So good job.
Like, oh, there's a sword. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to intimidate him. And I was like, that's fantastic. Yeah, definitely a natural.
Yeah, I think this is your first time with like a role-playing game like this. So what do you think of it, Christina?
I thought it was really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
Definitely need to play it again. It's awesome.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I love
Good
it.
job being Wonder Woman.
Definitely gotta use your imagination, creativity.
Yeah.
But I think that all comes with just playing more. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. The wonderful thing about this is it unlocks that creativity in you, and for me, D&D is group improv storytelling. And that's the kind of thing you just get better at as you do it. So yeah, I mean, you were fantastic today, and it's going to get even better with you guys.
Very cool. Regina,
And then I guess
go
for
on.
me, someone that really stood out was Hannah with her song. So awesome job with that. I've not forgotten about the inspiration. I'm just not gonna.
You only have 10 minutes in game to use it.
Oh, that's a bad stuff.
Yes.
So I've played bards before. Well, I mean it's a warden, but it's bard. And so I always try to have something ready, whether it's a limerick or something else.
Cool. So very well done. Thank you for putting in the work for that.
There were a lot of moments that I loved. As the DM, I feel like I'm the parent picking his favorite child, but I would say the moment that that made me laugh the most would be Gabe trying to have a conversation with Wilhelm while fighting. I really liked that. You know, and everyone had moments like that that were just fantastic, especially for the first session. I was really happy to see everyone kind of get into character and jump out. I love when games are focused and when we're not distracted by other things and everyone's in it and they're not, you know, just sitting around and not paying attention when it's their turn. And so this was a great session and I loved it. But I mean, that moment, trying to talk to Wilhelm, like I said, it just immediately took me back to Hawkeye and Age of Ultron, and it was pretty great. So,
I really liked when this isn't like there wasn't really much he could do, but of all the things to choose to do in order to wake people up, Gabe's character was like bouncing around and like throwing himself into people to wake them up. And also props to Serial for introducing himself first.
Oh yeah. Still don't know each other's names.
Poor
Except for Will.
So no lie, the only reason that I made the cereal joke is because in the moment I couldn't remember the correct pronunciation, and I knew if I made a joke he would correct me, and that seemed better than just asking since we'd already started recording.
Good job.
It's Cyrell. Thank you.
Cyrell. I'm gonna put that in like parentheses next to his name. I've got this cheat sheet there with stats for you guys. I'm gonna add that as like a phonetic.
Captain Crunch.
Hedrahel.
I mean, like, just, you know, playing this for the first time, I think it was really cool that even though we didn't know each other, we helped each other out. I think that was really cool because I wasn't expecting, you know, people to just be like, yeah, I'm just going to go free this person and I don't even know who it is. So, and I mean, of course, you know, when I was like, hey, I need your help. And, you know, Haley was like, I don't know, you know, like, I don't know why you want me to go, but okay, I guess. So glad I got some trust. I don't know. That was pretty cool.
Where's Dala going?
She was like, guys, I don't want to play. I'm just like, I'm gone. We were going to have to start doing 2 different sessions. It was like Dala's adventure and
The Adventures of Dala.
Very cool.
Dolo.
You
Gabe,
guys will be surprised when you figure out what Dala's backstory is. It will be very shocking.
Interesting.
Alright.
Gabe, something from you?
I liked when Christina was role playing, like what to say or what to do, and everything was going in her mind, and then Haley Proudfoot was like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, you're all quiet, and I'm just here, like, trying to figure
Like,
out, like,
she
where are we
was
going?
saying, Haley
Yeah.
does this. And I'm like, I do? Okay.
I do. Yes, you do.
I
Cool.
thought that was pretty cool.
Question number 2 of 3. What is one challenge or difficult situation that your character faced that you had to kind of negotiate or get out of?
Say it again. What is one thing your character?
Challenge or difficult situation that your character was experiencing through the session?
being almost dead. It's pretty challenging.
It's difficult.
Being the last to get untied.
That's true.
I don't know, probably confusion. I was like, I don't know if I should stay here and fight or like just kind of do something else because I feel like it's I don't know, like it's gonna do something. Like I'm gonna, accomplish something by going to kind of go for it.
Yeah, and I think it was definitely trying to convince Jeffrey to tell us what's up in a very kind-hearted way.
Yeah. Well, after several rounds of intimidating him, to try and persuade him is a little rough. So.
Yeah. Well, my hope is that he would not just give us a name of the place we're going, but the employer as well. But I was unable to get the employer, so I said, this guy, he isn't worth the trouble to catch and tie up again. Like it's like
I don't understand why you wanted to keep him.
Well, part of it was so when we get there, we may be able to put him out to the employer first and kind of get a lay of the land, kind of convince him to kind of go in and kind of see. Maybe we guys that were already bound up or whatever it is, and then when he gets there, we can get the jump on the enemies. But now we're going to be in the front end. So
well, but he didn't seem to be like. It seemed like he had any kind of
taken a bit to get him to that place. Yeah, it would have taken a little bit. That's why I wanted to keep him around. But he'll be fine out there in those woods.
The Stockholm Syndrome Jeffrey.
The Stockholm Syndrome Jeffrey. That's what I'm all about.
For those of you who have never had John as a dungeon master before, something that I've been a part of a lot of games, there's always an NPC named Jeffrey at some point.
It's the same guy. It's the same guy. He's like the Stan Lee of this of like John's D&D campaign.
In my first game, Jeffrey was a donkey, and it was my character's donkey. I was a cleric, and I had rolled like max on all of my starting money dice, and so I was like, "Well, I'm gonna buy a donkey. I can buy a donkey, and you can carry all my stuff." This donkey's name is Jeffrey, and he was awesome. And Angel was the DM for that game. We played for a while, and so ever since then, every game that I run, there's always at some point someone named Jeffrey. So.
My name's Jeff.
Derek, what's your other question?
I'll get to that one quick second. I think for Cyrell, I think his challenge was the whole thing with Jeffrey. Like I was like, all right, first does Cyrell know what's going on? If he does, I think Cyrell would actually want to keep him, but is Nebuchadnezzar going too far? And then I felt we had a little bit of an impasse, and then that's why I was glad when Haley jumped in and just started unbinding him. And then I think in Cyrell's mind, it's like, okay, he's going to make sure that the guy can get away. So I think that was a little bit of a challenge for my character, like what is the right thing to do? Because it seems like Jeffrey does not want to give any more information. This is starting to go to a bad place. So yeah, I think just negotiating that was bit tough for my character. So my last question for you guys was, what's one thing you can apply to real life from the session? What's a positive thing that you can take away?
Being courageous, bold, just going for it, even though it could kind of backfire on you. You just kind of go for it.
It's when your hands are tied, keep on trying. Eventually you'll get the breakthrough. Sometimes you may get a little mud in your beard. Sometimes you may get some spit in your eye. But eventually you're going to get out of those binds.
I think a common theme for Haley is a lot of people are going to point out how short and small she is. And so, like, not getting easily offended by that and just, like, still, like, educating people, but not just getting offended every time someone points out the size, but not just the size, but, like, something about you that you can't control.
Count the cost. Like, just throw yourself just because you can. Like, think before you act. That way you don't die.
There's people
I
just
learned
like,
from Edrahel that you can still make friends in the middle of battle.
That's good.
I learned that you could get zapped by some lightning and still be fine. You know, that's what I learned. I was like, wow, this is pretty great news for me.
Great news for me.
It's hard when everyone's level 1 because you have such a small pool of hit points that I have to be very careful not to just kill all of your characters in the first session, in the first combat, you know.
Yeah.
It's a game. For sure. It's a balancing act. A lot of spinning plates.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think for me, kind of relying on your team, because like my character's just one character. He can't do everything. So it was like really cool when like, oh, Adriel just shot him with an arrow. Will's doing this. Okay, the dwarf's doing this. The girls are out in the forest. I don't know what they're doing, but hey, it's cool. No, it's cool when you guys came back and like, oh, it was like, yes, okay. Whew, this is getting tight. So yeah, I think just trusting your team. What did you learn, John? For one thing that you can play?
It's constantly a joy for me to see players who interact with each other and not just me. And so, I'm reminded that, even though my role is to facilitate the game that everyone is playing, I get a lot of my joy of D&D, Lord of the Rings, Adventures in Middle Earth, whatever we're playing, by seeing the other people interact and role playing or whatever it is that you're doing, because that's when I feel like you're really in the story, and I feel like I've done a good job setting it up, and then I can take a step back for a few minutes and watch everything unfold with you guys. And I think in real life that is applicable to when we create something and we let it go, to let it go and not feel like we have to keep poking and prodding and adjusting, but to let it out there and let it go and let it be a thing that exists, and let people interact with it and be okay with that. That it's not our baby, it's not even ours anymore. And I think that there's security in that. There's hope in that. Processing it still, but it's like when I think about the ministries I'm involved in, it's reminding myself that they're not my ministry, they're the Lord's. And so I want to be able to sit back and watch and be proud of what's happening and not feel like I was have to be in control.
Like Gideon.
Like what?
Like Gideon. It was like, oh well, I have all these soldiers, and the Lord was like, nope. If you do it with those many, you're gonna think that it was you. Yeah.
Yep. I like when God does that. Nope.
No.
Yeah. You think he's going left, but then he goes right.
Oh.
And the Holy Spirit just dabs on you.
Holy Spirit now. Holy Spirit wins. Oh, good job. Thanks, guys. Those were all my questions. That was fun. Great adventure.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for making that fun.